Savannah Guthrie's sister, daughter of Nancy Guthrie. Yesterday, when I was here, it was just myself and a crew from TMZ. We were joined briefly by a reporter for the New York Times. Today, though, there is a lot of media camped out outside this home. We don't know if Savannah Guthrie is inside, but there is private security here, and that makes some reporters and photojournalists who've been on such high-profile stories before suggest that maybe she is.
Tonight, federal authorities have returned to the Nancy Guthrie home, not for routine follow-up, but to execute a second court-authorized search warrant. The renewed FBI investigation signals a significant development in this ongoing missing person case. According to officials, agents re-entered the residence with forensic teams, carefully collecting additional materials now described as new evidence connected to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. While investigators have not disclosed the exact nature of what was recovered, the decision to conduct another search suggests that the case has reached a critical turning point. No arrests have been announced, no suspect has been officially named. But the presence of federal agents returning to the same property raises urgent questions. What changed? What was discovered? And what does this fresh evidence mean for the investigation moving forward? Tonight, we break down what is confirmed, what this second search warrant legally represents, and why the FBI investigation at the Nancy Guthrie home appears to be intensifying. Before we jump into today's case, welcome to Kate Investigates True Crime, where every story matters and every clue counts. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to stay up to date on all our investigations. And don't forget, share your thoughts and theories below. Your insight could make a difference. Nancy Guthrie was reported missing after family members alerted local authorities when they were unable to make contact and became concerned about her sudden absence. Law enforcement responded to the residence and initiated a welfare check, which quickly escalated into a missing person investigation. Within days, federal authorities joined the case. The FBI confirmed their involvement, citing the need for additional investigative resources and forensic support. Shortly after, agents executed a court-approved search warrant at the Nancy Guthrie home. That initial search involved evidence collection, digital device seizure, and a detailed forensic examination of the property. Now, authorities have confirmed that a second search warrant has been executed at the same residence. Federal agents, accompanied by forensic specialists, re-entered the home to collect what officials describe as additional or newly identified evidence. Importantly, our investigators have not publicly disclosed the specific nature of this fresh evidence. They have also not announced any arrests, charges, or officially named suspects. Law enforcement continues to describe the case as an active and ongoing investigation. When the FBI first arrived at the Nancy Guthrie home, it was not a routine visit. It was the execution of a federally authorized search warrant, a legal step that requires investigators to demonstrate probable cause before a judge. Federal agents, accompanied by forensic specialists, entered the residence methodically. Crime scene technicians documented each room, photographed surfaces, and cataloged items that could potentially hold evidentiary value. Digital devices, including phones, computers, tablets, and external storage units, were reportedly secured for forensic analysis. Vehicles on the property were also examined. Investigators typically analyze interiors for trace materials, review onboard data systems when available, and document any irregularities that may assist in timeline reconstruction. Surveillance systems are another key focus in cases like this. Authorities often retrieve camera hardware, cloud backups, router logs, and other digital records to determine whether footage was deleted, altered, or interrupted. Even gaps in recording can become significant in an investigation. What makes a federal search warrant particularly important is its scope. Unlike a preliminary welfare check, this action signals that investigators believe specific evidence relevant to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance may be located inside the home. However, it is critical to emphasize, the execution of a search warrant does not imply guilt. It reflects investigative procedure. a structured effort to gather facts, preserve evidence, and reconstruct events with precision. At the conclusion of that first search, agents departed with collected materials for laboratory analysis. And now, with a second search warrant executed, the question becomes clear. What did the first round of forensic testing reveal that required investigators to return? When federal agents return to a property with a second search warrant, it is rarely procedural repetition. In most cases, it signals that new information has surfaced, either through forensic testing, digital analysis, or follow-up interviews, that justifies renewed access to the scene. There are several reasons this can happen. First, or evidence collected during the initial search may produce laboratory results that raise additional questions. For example, digital forensic teams may uncover deleted files, unusual device activity, or timeline inconsistencies that require investigators to physically re-examine specific areas of the home. Second, interviews conducted after the first search can sometimes reveal discrepancies or overlook details. Investigators often compare statements against physical and digital evidence. If something does not align, they may seek a second warrant to clarify or verify those inconsistencies. Third, forensic technology sometimes identifies trace materials, fibers, biological samples, or latent prints that require more targeted collection efforts. A second search can allow experts to focus on particular rooms, entry points, vehicles, or peripheral structures that were not initially prioritized. Officials have not disclosed what prompted this renewed FBI search at the Nancy Guthrie home. However, the legal threshold remains the same. Investigators would have needed to demonstrate probable cause again before a judge authorized re-entry. That detail alone suggests development. It does not confirm wrongdoing. It does not confirm a suspect. But it does confirm that something uncovered during the ongoing investigation warranted deeper examination. At this stage, authorities have not publicly detailed the exact nature of the fresh evidence recovered during the second FBI search of the Nancy Guthrie home. However, in cases like this, new evidence typically falls into several key categories. One possibility is biological material. Forensic laboratories sometimes identify trace evidence during initial testing that requires more precise collection. This could include samples that need comparison testing, enhanced analysis, or confirmation under stricter lab conditions. It's important to note that the recovery of biological material does not automatically indicate criminal activity. Context is everything. Another category involves digital evidence. Modern investigations rely heavily on device data, including phone activity logs, cloud backups, deleted communications, and location metadata. If forensic analysts uncover inconsistencies in timestamps or previously inaccessible files, investigators may return to retrieve additional hardware or verify network configurations inside the home. There is also the possibility of physical trace evidence, fibers, fingerprints, the footwear impressions, or objects that initially appeared insignificant but gained importance after further analysis. Often, what seems minor during a first search can become central once lab results come back. Finally, timeline reconstruction plays a critical role. If digital signals, such as router activity, security system logs, or vehicle telematics, suggest movements that require clarification, agents may conduct a more focused second search to confirm those in missing person cases like Nancy Guthrie's. Detectives often re-interview family members, close contacts, and anyone with recent interaction. This is standard procedure. The goal is not accusation, but clarification. Small details, changes in routine, unusual activity, gaps in memory, can become significant when compared against forensic timelines. Behavioral analysts may also look at access. Who was familiar with the home, who understood daily habits, and who had proximity during the critical window of time. Again, this is part of narrowing possibilities, not assigning blame. Authorities have not named any suspect and no charges have been filed. But when the FBI investigation deepens and multiple search warrants are executed, it often reflects an effort to align physical evidence, digital data, and human behavior into one coherent timeline. When the FBI describes evidence as fresh, it signals development but does not imply guilt or conclusion. Legally, fresh evidence can justify a second search warrant if new information emerges, whether from lab results, interviews, or digital analysis. Each search warrant requires a judge's approval based on probable cause. This ensures investigators can collect materials critical to understanding the case. It also protects the integrity of the investigation, ensuring that any evidence collected is admissible in court. In Nancy Guthrie's case, the second warrant shows investigators are following leads carefully and methodically. Every item collected, every device analyzed, is part of a structured effort to reconstruct events accurately, not to assign blame prematurely. With the FBI investigation deepening, the next steps are procedural but crucial. Analysts will examine all collected evidence, including digital data, forensic samples, and any items recovered during the second search. Investigators may request additional warrants, follow up on leads, and re-interview contacts as new insights emerge. Each step is deliberate, aimed at reconstructing Nancy Guthrie's timeline and understanding any events leading to her disappearance. While the public may only see occasional updates, every action by federal agents is part of a methodical effort to uncover facts. Patience is required. These investigations take time, but each development moves the case closer to resolution. The FBI investigation at the Nancy Guthrie home continues to evolve. Fresh evidence, second search warrants, and careful forensic work all point to a methodical and ongoing effort to uncover the truth. At this stage, no arrests have been made and no suspects have been officially named. What is clear is that federal investigators are leaving no stone unturned, from digital footprints to physical evidence and behavioral patterns.